Election laws only apply to conservatives, it seems. I'm Brian Lilley with the Rebel.media. You know how it goes if there's an allegation that the Conservative Party or one of their members is in violation of the Elections Act. We've seen it happen before. Investigators show up with the RCMP and media cameras in tow so that they can raid party headquarters. Or they start an investigation. They don't tell the person under investigation that anything's happening, but then somehow that information, including key financial information, is leaked to members of the media. That's what Dean Del Mastro says happened in his case. But if you're a Liberal, a New Democrat, or now a Green Party member, well, you're just going to be worked with hand in hand by Elections Canada all the way through. And at the end, you'll just sign a compliance agreement. This is a nice document that says, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not making an admission of guilt, but I promise not to do it again. The Green Party of Canada has admitted that they were in violation of the Canada Elections Act. They're just not being sanctioned for it. They engaged in what can only be described as voter suppression techniques just ahead of the last election. How'd they do that? Well, according to the news release put out by Elections Canada, the one that says the Green Party is not guilty of anything and makes no admission of guilt, but they promise not to do it again, the Green Party is accused of distributing highly unreliable polling data. That's a quote from Elections Canada. It was unreliable polling data. It was meant for internal use only. It had a high margin of error. But what the Green Party did was they targeted areas where they were trying to get Conservative voters to switch from voting for the Conservatives to voting for the Greens in order to stop the NDP. So they had internal tracking polling with a high margin of error, and they put it on a document without putting the margin of error, the process that the poll was conducted by, or several other items required by Elections Canada when a poll result is first published. Let me read to you from the release put out by Elections Canada. It says, distribution of the flyer was intended to influence the votes of electors who were believed to live in neighborhoods with greater numbers of Conservative Party of Canada supporters. The intention was to shift votes from the Conservative candidate to the Green Party candidate, who the contracting party believed they would prefer as an electoral option to the NDP. As such, the flyer was intended as an invitation for Conservative supporters to vote strategically for the Green Party candidate, whose support, according to the flyer, was within 1 percentage point of the NDP candidate in Victoria. They call it the deliberate use of unreliable data. The deliberate use of unreliable data. And they just get a slap on the wrist. Not even that. They just say, don't worry, I won't do it again. This is yet another example of Elections Canada having one rule for the Conservatives, one rule for everyone else. Mark Mayran, Yves Cote, all the people surrounding that organization. Can there be any conclusion that you come to if you support the Conservatives other than bias? Other than they hate the Conservatives, they will do everything they can to prosecute Conservatives, and everyone else gets a free pass. What is the point of having laws on the books? What is the point of having consequences for breaking those laws if time and again when progressive parties break the law, all they have to do is sign a document saying they wouldn't do it again? This is exactly the same type of voter suppression technique that engulfed the whole country in the robocall scandal. No, it's not telling someone to go to a different voting station, but it is giving them false data that was never intended for public release in order to sway votes. That, ladies and gentlemen, is voter suppression. Will you hear an outcry in the media over the Green Party getting to walk away on this one? Likely not. It's time not only to start ignoring the mainstream media, it's time to clean them up, but it's also time to clean house in terms of how we apply the elections law.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.